Project Atla, Episode 2, The Merchant. Maria started her day on Atla just like any morning. She went to the morning meeting of the Trading Guild. Maria had a sense of shame on her status as a member of the guild. Rather than buying her a license to join, she inherited her grandfather's membership card. You see, most members of the Trading Guild buy their way in. But during the earliest days of the Empire, membership was only given to those who were deemed worthy, and those were called the Original 100. If you asked a member of the Trading Guild, they would tell you that it's older than the royal family. The royal family's official stance is that they created the original Trading Guild. Even independent scholars cannot determine what is the true story. "Good morning, Maria," a man no older than 40, carrying a console displaying the news, greeted the kind merchant. "It appears that Vic Rend has been having plenty of shortages of soil coming from the Outer Realms. This may be a good time for you to reach out. I have a contact on plan if you'd like me to make an introduction." Maria kindly accepted the offer, and they continued to walk towards the morning meeting. Maria's family were one of the first to tackle industrial agriculture. They had plenty of access to soils, fertilizers, and compost. This was the true purpose of the Trading Guild, members coming together to help each other with opportunities. The morning debrief was an ordinary affair. Yvonne Dayolt, the current monarch of Atla, has proclaimed this the age of expansion. The primary function of most industries have shifted to energy generation, spacecraft manufacturing, and most importantly to Maria, agriculture. The debrief continued, sticking to the agenda of energy production. This month will mark 3 years of Rorik Dalton's boondoggle in the distant lands. Trading Guild leadership is reviewing project feasibility. The Inferno Guild was growing exasperated with the amount of manpower they were allocating to this project. Maria had heard rumblings that this project was being partially funded by the royal family. Rorik Dalton, being the cousin of Yvonne, was an anomaly in the Trading Guild. Most members of the royal family hold positions in the court or skate by on the family name, but Rorik was different. He entered the Trading Guild the way a normal member would, and had been gaining influence within the ranks. That was all until he started his latest project in the distant lands. "Rorik is bringing dishonor to our guild. After so many years of fighting for respect, we finally have it. This adventure is causing more pain than any benefit. He shouldn't have even been given this assignment in the first place." The meetings where Rorik becomes the topic of interest have been having a much different audience reactions rather than the typical reading of lists. The leaders of the guild quickly removed those creating the ruckus and reminded everyone that a decision will be made on the continuation of this adventure. Truthfully, Maria didn't mind this mission prolonging. She had signed exclusive rights to provide all soil, seeds, and fertilizer to the expedition on Vic Eth. She was also utilizing the Inferno Guild's inbound of recruits to lower transportation costs. This was a rare time that not only was she making a solid profit off her wares, but she was building influence within the Inferno Guild. In the past, the Inferno Guild was spending their time in search of rare metals in the distant lands. But in the Monarch's Age of Expansion, they were being sent to planets to build the foundation of new settlements. Maria knew that this meant they would have plenty of information on what new planets would be in need of agricultural supplies. Maria shook her head, realizing she had not been paying any attention to the meeting at hand. Lastly, we can end the meeting with some excitement. The Trading Guild will be sponsoring a feast during the upcoming celebration of 10 years since Yvonne Dayolt took the throne. This will be a chance for you to get to meet members of the royal family and their court. If you are interested in attending the feast, you must make a hefty contribution to the party fund. Maria scoffed, knowing she would not be involved in the guild's continued pay-to-play practices. The crowd dispersed, and as Maria was exiting the guild hall, she could see a few of the troublemakers from the meeting standing outside. Many had bruises and black eyes. Unfortunately, this was becoming too commonplace. "The guild my grandfather used to tell me about is not the guild I work in anymore," she thought to herself. Growing up, Maria remembered her grandfather as a well-respected member of the community. His benefits as a member of the trading guild allowed him to have leniency on those less fortunate than himself. During Alfred Deolt's reign, the father of Yvonne, Atla was going through hard times. After many generations of expansion, Alfred was paranoid that he could not control the population far from the grasp of Atla. So he slowed expansion and focused on isolation. The lack of supplies coming from off-planet meant Atla was consuming way more than it generated. During these times, Maria's grandfather's primary customers being farmers were the most affected. If any farmer had a blight, or if there was a disaster, they would be out in the streets and have their land taken in no time. But Maria's grandfather did everything in his power to help those in need. He told her it was only possible because of his connections in the trading guild. Today, the members would be asking for those families so that they could be buying the land for themselves for the cheapest possible price. Maria made her way northeast out of the heart of the city to her main operation. Long ago were the days of silos and old wooden fences. Industrial agriculture had fully taken root on Atla, and Maria's operation was leading the way. A 600,000 square foot soil operation now happening just outside of a major city, in a warehouse. Rurik's expedition wasn't Maria's first experience with the Inferno Guild. Her family has been sourcing rock material from them since her grandfather's time. What was one of the most critical resources for her operation was a rounding error of waste for the guild. Maria spent the rest of the working day negotiating with the rural farmers of Atla, trying to get their waste for her fertilizer operations. After successful negotiations, she packed her things up and made her way back to the city center. A new routine to get in touch with her grandfather's generation was to spend time working in the soup kitchen. Most days, she was serving those who couldn't cut it in whatever professions their parents forced them into. And more often than not, she was seeing an abundance of over-radiated artisans. These were those who chose to work in some of the harshest conditions, be that energy factories or weapons manufacturing. Is this truly what Atla had in store for some of the most important members of society, she thought to herself? Maria chose not to call them the Chosen. She wasn't a fan of using a name in jest like her peers. What had her more concerned was the new faces appearing in the kitchen lately. There had been multiple young people, not too far from their time in the academy, starting to appear. Most of them were polite, cordial, and didn't say much. One of the boys who came in, Maria knew his father. He was an engineer, but now his son was on the streets. The shift at the kitchen went without excitement, and Maria preferred it this way. As her shift was nearing the end, a tall boy with red hair walked through the door. She noticed his clothing, though tattered, was once a fresh outfit for the Inferno Guild. As the boy with red hair approached her in line, Maria struck up a conversation with him. "Oh, good afternoon. Is that an Inferno Guild uniform by chance?" "I didn't steal it, if that's what you're asking," responded the boy. Maria was unsettled by his response. Not that he was defensive, that would be the normal response. The boy went from looking at the floor to looking at her. She felt as if the boy was looking into her soul. "Please accept my apologies. I didn't mean offense. I just have been seeing more and more young people from the guild coming into our kitchen." The boy didn't react, nor did he quite know what to say to Maria's statement. Maria provided him an extra portion and apologized again. The boy ate his food alone and made his way back into the streets. Could this be related to Rurik's expedition, Maria thought to herself? Or is this just another case of Yvonne trying to expand the empire too fast, creating scarcity even for those who are in positions who should be well off? Maria's curiosity got the better of her, so she followed the red-haired boy back into the streets. When she finally caught up with him, she found him sitting on a bench. She carefully observed him. He sat nearly frozen on the bench, as if he was practicing for perfect posture. But what she was most confused by was the lack of anything. There was no begging for money or interactions with other people on the street. It was as almost like it was a husk of a boy, just watching the world continue around him. Project Atla is written and produced by Elsie Caldwell. Thank you.